I'm gonna make a prediction he'll become a GM at 12 years and 1 month. That's my prediction. So the next article we're going to move on to is this article about Faustino Oro becomes the youngest ever international master at 10 years old. Now this, by the way, I'm going to be honest before we get into this article, I am extremely disappointed in Faustino. I expected Faustino to skip over international master and become a grand master right away. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. I thought Faustino was going to skip right over it and get to GM, but nonetheless, let's get into the article. I mean, I'm joking. Of course, I'm being very sarcastic when I say I'm very disappointed. But let's get right into it. Yeah. Okay, 10-year-old Faustino Oro, dubbed the Messi of chess, has become the youngest ever international master and once again earned a place in chess history, securing the final norm today in Barcelona, Spain. The Argentinian prodigy is one of only 3 players to achieve the title before turning 11. Oro went undefeated through the 9-round Club de Ajedrez Barcelona event, which took place from June 26th to 30th in the Spanish city. The 10-year-old won 4 out of his first 6 games and drew the last 3. They call him the Messi of chess because he's from Argentina. And drew the last 3 with 6.5 points out of 9. The young Argentinian finished shared first with I am Christian Andres Hernandez, half a point clear of Hipólito Assis Gagatagli. Okay, so 6.5 points. He shared first place, and let's keep going. He's 10. Come on, I mean, he's very good. Like he's very good. Like I've played him in some blitz, and he's improving quite quickly. I still think if you were to ask me, I mean, I think that Erdogmus is stronger and further along, but Oro is also like Faustino is also like he's also like what's he like 4 years younger, so he's a lot of time. While Oro drew his way to the norm, it wasn't as easy as he was under heavy pressure and had to defend worse positions in the last 2 games. In particular against Chilean I am Fernando Valenzuela. Wait, Fernando Valenzuela, isn't that like a pitcher on the Dodgers? Did this guy just like Fernando Valenzuela just suddenly like decide to take up chess in the last 20 years or 30 years? That's weird. Okay, anyway, he played against the famous Chilean I am Fernando Valenzuela in the final round. In the end, a draw was enough to clinch Oro's 3rd and final GM norm, or IM norm, just a month after scoring a 2nd norm in Medellin, Colombia. What's that saying? Plata o plomo, right? The first norm came in Argentina in October. Anyway, okay. Oro got off to a dream start when he beat the only grandmaster in the field. This is the first round. Let's take a look at this game. Okay, what's this game? Oh, actually, you guys can't see the board, so let me change the scene. Let's take a look. What is this? Let's take a look at this game. This was round 1, right? Okay. Oh, this queen. Oh, you know what's funny, by the way? Fun fact. This is I guess the guy took with a pawn, but when I made, I think my 2nd GM norm in the Dominican Republic, I think I had this position against this guy, Takachia from France, and I beat him in the final round, I think, to get a GM norm in Dominican Republic when I was like 12 years old. At any rate, we get ED5, Bishop G5, okay, all pretty normal. See what the bar says. Bar looks normal. Actually, wait. Didn't I have this? Actually, I think I had this exact position in the Champions Chess Tour against Le Quang Liam as well. But whatever. Let's keep going. Okay, it keeps going. Normal positions. White's a little bit better. Bishop F1. Rook E1. Okay. Pretty normal. Okay, Bishop D3. Actually, this is a move that I'm not a big fan of. Because Faustino actually a little bit his understanding a little bit shaky here, because White has the 2 Bs, and in the Nimzo Indian, the 2 Bs is what you want. And trading off a pair of Bs is not actually fundamentally great. But at least he has obvious plans. He's going to stack the towers, right? And he's going to get knight d5 somewhere, right? Yeah, I guess knight d5. Okay. Still not easy to win, by the way. This still should be a draw of perfect play. Okay. Rook d5, yeah, queen c1's better, okay, but takes is just insane because now there's something bad's gonna happen because white has too many open files and an outside pawn. Wait, what just happened? Oh, he played rook e5. Wow, that's a bad move. And now you just lose. Yeah, you just lose. Okay. He only needed a draw in this game. Oh wait, I thought this was the first round. No, I thought this was the first round. It said first round. No, but anyway, let's keep going with the article. And off we go. Oh no, it's first round. He beat the grandmaster in the field. By the way, wait. Oh wait, sorry. This is for IM. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Sorry, I was like, wait a second. I was like, how do you get a GM norm and it feels there's only one GM? But it's an IM norm. It's not a GM norm. So I'm just completely insane. Well, Oro drew his way to the norm. Or wait, no, we read that part. He followed up also by winning the next 2 games before he slowed down with draws in rounds 4 and 5. His victory in round 6 against FM Alex Tornero was key for clinching the norm, leaving him needing only 1.5 in his last 3 games. So the final game, he defended excellently in a worse position and saved the draw after almost 3 hours of play. Okay, so this is a game against Fernando Valenzuela, right? Let's take a look at this game against Fernando. Okay, so he's playing with the black pieces, and let's see, what do we got? Okay, all pretty normal. He plays H6, so yeah, he played H6. He's just 10? What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, I know he's just 10. What's your point? I'm not expecting him to be a 2800. I'm just surprised that he misevaluated the 2 bishops. There was bishop pair. That's not like me saying, oh, his play is terrible or something. Yeah, so this, yeah, c5 is sneaky. It's hard. This actually is very sneaky. It's hard to play against this pawn side push. I'm curious what he did. He goes b4. Okay, trades not bad. b5 not bad. Maybe it is bad, but it seems fine. Takes. e5, good stuff. I really don't like e4 from his opponent. Fernando should stick to pitching. Yeah, e4 is a terrible move. Yeah, I mean, e4 is just a very bad move here from Fernando. Yeah, that's a terrible move, just exchanging all the pawns. Probably I would go rook b1. We get this position. Oh, but here, apparently here white is better after rook e1, which is a crazy move. And yeah. At any rate, not bad. So let's keep going with the article. Okay, so he drew the final round. Let me change the scene, of course, and here we go. After the conclusion of the game, the 10-year-old IM did not celebrate and could be seen calmly signing his score sheet and walking away from the playing hall with his father. Third to become IM before turning 11. Ideal IM age, according to you, if you're talking like people with the highest ceiling of like, top 10 world championship level, I think it's only going to go down. I would say like IM is arbitrary, but I would say GM is probably the big question. And I think for GM nowadays, if you're trying to be a top 10 player, you probably need to be a GM, and I'm going to say like 13. Probably 13 or younger. I mean, I think chess is only going to skew younger over time due to the amount of resources that kids have. But I would say 13 or younger if you were talking about like the absolute like top. Like if you think top 10 world champion, like if you're talking like the absolute peak of the peak, I think 13 probably is what I would say. Around 13 years old. And I think it's only going to keep getting younger, by the way. At 10 years, 8 months, and 16 days, the Argentinian prodigy has met all the requirements for the International Master title, pending formal approval by the International Chess Federation. He has already cruised well above 2,400 rating requirement when he narrowly missed a norm in the Madrid Chess Festival early this month. Oro's record-breaking achievement placed him in an elite company of players who qualified for the title before their 11th birthday. The previous record was held by GM Abhimanyu Mishra, while GM Ramesh Babu Pragnanantha was another 17 days older. He now tops a prestigious list of prodigies who all went on to become grandmasters. Now, this is not shocking at all to me because is this better? Yeah, there we go. You have Faustino Oro, Abhimanyu Mishra, Prag, Yildiz Khan Erdogmus, Sindarov, Subramaniam. I'm not actually super familiar with this guy. Subramaniam, I feel like I'm not familiar with him. Has he had a big rise? I don't feel like I've seen a big rise from. You have Digukesh, obviously from India, Sergei Karyakin from Ukraine, Noterbek from Uzbekistan, of course, Andy Woodward from the United States. So obviously a big deal. And I'm also not surprised at all that all those guys went on to become grandmasters, and very strong grandmasters at that. Sergei Karyakin, yes, he represented the great country of Ukraine for many years before losing his mind. Let's keep going on. Yildiz Khan Erdogmus, by the way, is of the players on the list, is the only other one who's super young, who has huge talent. Okay, by comparison, GM Magnus Carlsen achieved the title at 12 years and 7 months. GM Alireza Firouzja at 12 years 9 months. GM Wesley So at 12 years 10 months, and GM Hikaru were at 13 years and 2 months. That's actually kind of disgusting. That was only 23 plus years ago. It was only 23 years ago, you guys. I became an IM at 13. Yeah, late bloomer. Ew, terrible. I am at 13. That's terrible. Pathetic, right? That's just pathetic. Who becomes an IM at 13? Fabiano was 13 and 4 months. So even Fabio and I were both like terrible. Just like absolutely terrible chess players. Wash at 13, exactly. Anyway, let's keep going. Oro is, by the way, just to be clear, when you look at this, like you see Fabian at 13 and me at 13, I think all this is going to skew younger and younger over time. Like I wouldn't be shocked if you have like multiple kids becoming IMs at 10 years old in the future. I would not be shocked whatsoever. So I think that this list, I would give you, like, speaking of making fun bets, I would probably give you, I think I would give you probably good odds. I'd probably give like 3 to 1. I'd probably actually give more like 5 to 1 that within the next like 10 years, every player on this list will have made it at 10 years old. That's actually what I would say. I would bet that in the next 10 years, the top 10 youngest IMs in history will all be 10 or younger. I would actually make I'd probably give even higher odds than that, because I think it's just going that direction regardless. But anyway, bold prediction. I don't think it's bold at all. I don't think it's bold whatsoever. Chess players are getting good so young now that I don't think that's bold, actually. I think it's just a foregone conclusion, actually. How good will they get is the question. I mean, well, that's a whole separate question altogether. But anyway, let's keep going. Oro was set to be rated 24-19 on FIDE's July list, but thanks to his performance in Barcelona, where he extended his streak without a loss of 31 games, he will add another 31 points in August. While still 4 months away from turning 11, he breaks into Argentina's top 15. To illustrate the feat, Chess.com compared his current rating with today's top 3 players, Carlsen, Nakamura, and Caruana at the same age. I mean, his graph should be much higher than any of ours, right? Let's take a look at this graph. This graph shows Magnus. I mean, of course it's better than Magnus. His K is probably down to 10 now. His K is down to 10, yes. Okay, his progress is higher at 10. Yeah, like, no, his progress at 10 is higher than any of us at 12 years old, basically. So very, very good start. I mean, long way to go. Obviously 10 is so young that it's like, it's too early to tell, but he is on a very, very good track at the moment. I would say in general, the biggest thing with Faustino that's gonna be like an important moment is what happens to Faustino when he hits like the wall. Like, hitting a hard wall it's unclear whether he'll hit a hard wall, but at some point he's going to have a bad tournament or a couple of bad tournaments in a row, and how he responds to that, how his coaches deal with helping him is going to be very, very critical. Very, very critical. Because he's not just going to go up all the way. So it's really going to be about his coaches and what they do when he does struggle, because it's not going to be a rise straight up. Like, he's going to have a spot somewhere, it might not be anytime soon, where he has 2 or 3 bad tournaments in a row where he loses like 15-20 points, and how the coaches help him out and how he reacts to that is going to be probably the most important thing in terms of, like, progressing towards like the top 10 and everything. Magnus hit a wall. Magnus may be the only player in history who never hit a wall. I mean, he really never hit a big wall, although I think he did hit a wall very, very briefly, somewhere around 2700, I think. No, I'm not coaching him, but he has a team of coaches. Anyway, let's keep going. The pandemic prodigy. Oro is a part of a trend where kids who learn chess during the pandemic achieve their titles at an even younger age, breaking records left and right. This is something I think we are going to be seeing more as time goes along. A lot of kids trickling towards IMGM and maybe even the highest level players. Players who have been starting to play during the pandemic, Nakamura said in a YouTube video. Now, this is something, this is actually out of everything, like all the noise and all the garbage online aside, that, like, I'm extremely proud of. And like, when people ask me about being like whether I consider myself a professional player or streamer or whatever, and at the end of the day, like, the impact that I've had through streaming and like all these kids who took up chess during the pandemic is far greater than anything that I'll ever accomplish as a player. So like, I am very, very proud of this. I mean, a lot of people, like, they try to say, well, you're a player of this or that, but like, who cares if I'm 2800? Who cares, frankly, if I get to 2850? Like, the amount of kids who've gotten into chess who are going places, who started during the pandemic, is insane, and I am very, very proud of that. And the pandemic, he was 5, yeah, but kids start playing chess at like 2 years old now. So far. I look back, like, in 2-3 years when let's keep going. At some point when I look back in the future, down the road, like, this will have meant a lot more to me than anything else. So let's keep going. Faustino's father, Alejandro Oro, by the way, Oro is funny too, because that means gold, has shared the story of how his son learned chess at the age of 6 after he signed him up for a chess.com account. My kid is 6 now, it's too late? No. Kids can start at 6 and improve immensely. I mean, again, it's all relative. Well, like, what do you guys when you guys talk about like starting chess? What do you guys mean? Do you mean like getting good, enjoying the game, or do you mean like you're insane and you think they're going to be the next Magnus Carlsen? Like that's what it comes down to. If you think they're going to be the next Magnus Carlsen, then yes, maybe it's too late to start chess at 8 years old. But at 6 years old, have them play chess, have them enjoy it. Don't think about any of this nonsense. See how good they get and go from there. He's 6. It's over. Get rid of him. Start again. Yes, exactly. Faustino Oro's father, Alejandro Oro, has shared the story of how his son learned chess at the age of 6 after he signed up for a chess.com account at his wife Romina Simondi's request during the pandemic lockdown. They needed to find a way to stop their kid from kicking a ball around and breaking things at home. Nice. The trick clearly worked, as he instead fell in love with chess after just after a year of playing actively. He achieved a FIDE rating of 2000. That was also the time he started streaming in Spanish with chess.com. Chess Kid's director of content, WM Yvette Garcia Morales, who told chess.com, since I met Faustino Oro in 2021 and he was playing his first games, I knew I was facing a chess genius. What stood out the most is his love for chess. Okay. Breaking records. On his journey towards the title as the youngest ever international master, the 10-year-old has set several mind-blowing records. He became the youngest to ever achieve a classical rating of both 2200 and 2300 last year. Not long after, he also scored his first international master norm as the first under the age of 10. When he officially breaks the 2400 barrier on the official list in July, he'll be the second youngest to do so, with only GM Norbek Abdusattorov a few months younger. Oro has also made headlines for his exceptional skills in speed chess, defeating both Carlsen and Nakamura in bullet games, and Gotham Chess IM Levy Rosman in a blitz match. Recently, he also became the youngest ever to achieve a blitz rating of 3000 on chess.com. Levy, yes. Nevertheless, his parents, no, they're not chess players. No, nevertheless, but by the way, also, this is kind of what it shows. Like, his parents are not chess players, but it shows the amount of resources online are so incredibly immense for kids out there these days. Because, like, if a kid really gets into chess, even I bet he probably had no actual formal training until recently. I bet he had no formal training. I bet it was all online, just like watching videos, playing blitz over and over again. So like, that's the biggest difference now, is that kids have these opportunities that did not exist in the old days. So, like, when I was young, for example, I would go play chess online a lot. I mean, I was one of the first ones to do it, like 10 or 11. And, like, there were good players I could play online, but the absolute elite of the elite in terms of chess players were never playing online. So, like, when I was growing up, I would have loved to have had the chance to play against, like, a Kramnik or a Kasparov or a Nan, but those guys never played online. So, like, you could play against very good players, but you didn't have the absolute best players in the world competing in a regular basis the way you do now. So even for, like, Faustino, like, it doesn't even have to be like myself or Magnus or any of that, but even playing against, like, a solid, like, 2700 level player like Hans Niemann, like, that's going to go very, very far for improving his chess. Okay. Nevertheless, his parents have repeatedly stressed they put no pressure on their son and that they are not after records. Alejandro Oro told Argentinian newspaper Infobae, Romina and I don't care, and we are not after the record, but he wants the title of international master, and that is more important to him than breaking a record because his mind is not capable of magnifying it. Okay. It probably cost big dollars for this. Well, he's definitely he's stood out, and he's recently, I think, gotten support from I don't know if it's an Argentinian company or, like, it's private sponsors, but he does have, I think, 5 coaches right now who are helping him. So it does cost a lot of money. You know, that's a topic for another time, but he does have support, and I think it's good. I mean, the only thing that I would say is that the sort of, to play devil's advocate, is you have players like Agiz Khan or Dogmas or Faustino Oro who are getting massive amounts of support, and say, like, some of the American juniors aren't getting support, but that's, like, you know, it is what it is. What do you want, really? So yeah, like, I can't really fault them, even though there are American juniors who are not very happy about these things, but, you know, whatever. Let's keep going. He noted that it was Faustino's choice to play in Barcelona. For Romina and for me, it would have been better if he had canceled his participation because he had played many games in a few days, but he is fully charged. He wants to play and is confident, and that is very important to face a tournament, he said. Okay. Oro's first coach, work habits like at 2600. The family moves last year from Argentina to Badalona, Spain, so their son could focus on his chess career. That seems to have paid off, as Oro gained around 100 rating points since. Last month, it was also revealed that a group of anonymous businessmen, along with the Argentinian Chess Federation, have launched what is described as an unprecedented plan to back the family financially. Oro now has a total of 5 coaches that are supported throughout through the program. One of them is the original coach from Argentina, I am Jorge Rosito, who described for chess.com a unique talent who's lucky to have all the support from his parents. Okay. I once asked Faustino's father what it was like to be his father. When Faustino started playing chess, he would have been happy if he had become the under-8 champion, but then this happened, becoming the father of a genius. Without a doubt, his parents have managed this very well. Having coached Oro since 2020, he described a gifted child who loves chess and enjoys working hard to improve. What has been surprising me the most lately is his work capacity. His work habits are those of a 2600 player, which amazes me because he is only 10 years old. It is important to mention this because talent goes hand in hand with hard work, and Faustino has these habits. Only 5 coaches. Yeah, but I mean, they're supporting him. I think it's very much a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Actually, not only that. I was gonna say, like, actually, it doesn't matter as long as it's in Europe. But like Spain, I would say doesn't have the same amount of terms they once did, like in the 90s or early 2000s. But nonetheless, the fact that he's on the European continent is much better than being in North America or South America. So the opportunities to play in Europe are there far more opportunities, and his chance to improve become much better. How many hours did I spend on chess when I was 10 years old? Like the whole day. The whole day. The whole day. But I think the most important point from this that speaks volumes is that ultimately, as far as chess goes, for the people who become extremely good at the game, it really comes down to within yourself. If you're able to like study on your own and have this passion, this great passion for the game. If you don't have that, a coach can't really teach you that. Like if you study like 2 hours a day and you're like, you don't have that work ethic to begin with, a coach cannot teach that to you. So with all the kids who are very, very good, they spend hours and hours studying chess, and it comes from within first and foremost. And then you have to work with that, like that natural passion and talent to improve if you're a coach. So, all right, let's keep going. How many hours? I mean, at that age, because the ceiling is the limit, as many hours as he can to retain stuff, to retain information, which frankly I would say is basically the whole day if he can. Rosito says that he has coached players from around Latin America, but he never enjoyed coaching as much as now. Well, obviously. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like an angel fell from the sky and I'm living in a movie. I never have to repeat anything to Faustino twice. His speed, his constant desire to win against anyone working with Faustino is like a dream and a movie, which I still can't believe. I feel very blessed to have watched this movie from when Faustino was 6 years old to now that he is 10. He's a great person, and something to highlight is that he's never been arrogant. He's very humble and very funny. I could talk about Faustino for an hour. Glazing, yeah, it's glazing, but who cares? He's the coach. He should glaze. Would I like to coach someone like him when I retire? I don't really intend to do that. Not really. No, that's not my future. Not my intention, at least. But more power to people who want to do those things. Another coach is the Peruvian GM Hikaru from Peru, or I always says Peruvian, who's worked with Oro for the past 9 months. He is a genius, best talent I have ever seen. He asked what it's been like working with him. He said, it has been nice. It is like playing with a friend. You can forget that he is 10 years old. The sentiment was also shared. I mean, of course, obviously it's all glazing, but they should celebrate. He is like the best, talented Spanish junior probably in maybe ever, actually. So, or Spanish speaking, I should say. So, like even if you want to say it's glazing, they should be allowed to glaze. The sentiment was also shared by Mario Petrucci, the president of the Argentinian Chess Federation. Emailed chess.com, he praised Oro's personality, friendliness, simplicity, empathy with his opponents, being a good student, and respecting his teacher. Oro has already received extensive coverage in Argentinian media, dubbing him the Messi of chess. Petrucci noted that while the impact is difficult to measure, it has led to chess reaching new audience. He added, ordinary people outside the chess community are now aware of Faustino following the results and are all attentive to his achievements. This phenomenon has never happened before, allowing chess to be noticed by new audience and government officials interested in supporting us. Everything is very positive for chess, which we are channeling to support other talents. It is always the case in a sport that when a world-class figure emerges, the sport grows in both quantity and quality, Petrucci said. It won't be long until we see Oro in action again, as he'll take part in the Chess Kid Youth Championship next week, playing in the under 16 section. Messi of chess is good marketing. Of course, it's great marketing. I mean, the big thing that I think is important to note as well, though, which is very good in general, the thing that I think is really, really important to note is that Argentina is a country. Again, I'm not gonna get deep in the weeds, but as far as I understand, Argentina is generally a country that's had a lot of turmoil. I mean, they're a country that, of course. Well, we don't need to be political, but there's been a lot of upheaval, and outside of football, I don't really feel like I can think of Argentinians who have really been on the world stage and many other things. Pinochet was in Chile, you guys. I'm talking about Perón. But anyway, like, we don't need to make this political. But the point is, I don't feel like in Argentina, outside of football, have they had anybody? Yeah, in tennis, you have Del Potro. But I don't feel like you have many people who've reached like the highest levels in many fields. And that bodes extremely well for the future. Because when you don't have people who are at the very top, when you don't have people who are at the very top, it means that when you have these super talents, Manu, I forgot about Manu. Losing my mind. I forgot about Manu, but it's still like, we're talking about a single hand. We're not talking about like a lot of people in many sports. So that's very, very good because like they can get behind him and support him in a way that like in the US that could never happen. Because like in the US, for example, the US the US is good at every single sport out there. So that is one thing that I think that bodes very well for the future in terms of support and just general interest in Argentina for chess. Najdorf was from Poland, but he went to Argentina, but he was from Poland. But anyway, that's beside the point. I don't know why we're getting so off topic. So anyway, good stuff to see. If you were to ask me to make a prediction, I think Faustino will be a GM. How old is he? He's 10 what? Let me scroll up. He is 10 years old. He's 10 years, 8 months, 16 days. I'm going to predict that he'll make GM touch over 12 years old. I'm going to make a prediction he'll become a GM at 12 years and 1 month. That's my prediction. I don't think he's going to become a GM this year. I don't think so. I mean, maybe he'll smash through it, but as I said, just based on history, I think he's going to hit a wall somewhere very briefly. But I'm going to predict it'll take him like 1 year, 5 months. I think 1 year, 5 months. That's my prediction. I think he'll make it right around 12 years old. I do think also though that when we look down the road, I don't think like right now it's amazing, but I do think this is going to become more of the norm. As we move forward, I think this is going to become more of the norm. Like right now it's out of this world, but as I said, I expect in the next 10 years, if you look at a list of the youngest IMs in history, all 10 of the people on the list will be 10 years old or younger. So I think this is going to become the norm more than it being exceptional as we keep going. Yeah, USA hater, who cares? But anyway, good article, and let's keep moving on. All right, guys. Let's get going. So yesterday we covered some articles on Faustino Oro, the famous Argentinian chess player who recently became the youngest ever international master. Now today we get more news about the kids and how good they are becoming. Now this article is about the 9-year-old Ethan Pang, who broke Faustino Oro's record to become the youngest ever 2200 player. All right. Meet 9-year-old Ethan Pang from London, United Kingdom. The chess prodigy has just fulfilled a dream after a series of incredible results that earned him the title of candidate master and the record as the youngest player ever to cross the 2200 barrier. A seemingly endless generation of rising kids has seized the spotlight in recent years, and they keep breaking records. The new kid in town is Pang, a pupil at Westminster Under School in the heart of London. He's had an exceptional few months, and since turning 9 in March, has in just 3 tournaments gained a whopping 334 rating points, skyrocketing from 1878 to 2212. Pang's latest success was scoring 3 out of 4 in the EACU County Team Championship in June, where he jumped 48 rating points. His best result was a draw against 2493 rated I.M. Alan Mary from a reportedly winning position. He hasn't lost in his last 16 classical games. Now, as I've said a few times, I do expect this to become the norm where you have more and more young kids getting very, very good. But there is one very, very important point here to all of this, which is going to be it's going to be really exciting to look back on like in 30 years from now to see whether this is specifically a COVID-related boom or whether this continues forward. Because all these players that we're seeing right now who are becoming very good, they are all people who are products of taking up chess during the pandemic. And very specifically, I think, watching a lot of chess online. So like this is something that like in 30 years it'll be very cool to look at, because one of two things I think is going to happen. Either we're going to be in a time where we're going to look at players who started playing chess around 4, 5, 6 during the pandemic from 2020 to like, let's just say 2023. Those kids are either going to be like exceptionally good, like outside the norm, or it's going to usher in an age where I think this is going to become very commonplace and kids younger and younger are going to be improving. So it's going to be really exciting to look back on this in like 20 or 30 years to see whether this is short term or whether this is a long-term trend. Now, my personal opinion is that this is probably going to become a long-term trend, but you don't know. The reason we don't know also is that to me, it's very hard to judge. In an hour, we'll get another article. Right, but the point that I'm making is, like, if you look at Faustino or you look at this kid, they are kids who took up chess during the pandemic when there was nothing else to do. And that's kind of the thing that I'm really curious to see when we look back down the road, whether it's going to be the kids who took it up during the pandemic, or whether, say, even 5 years from now, say there's a bunch of 5-year-old kids. Will they take up the chess the way the kids took up chess during the pandemic, or is this going to be very confined to a very brief time in history? So, all right, let's keep going. Like, I'll give you an example. So when you look at these kids, during the pandemic, there was nothing that kids could do. All these kids were stuck inside. Of course, adults too were stuck inside. So you had to do something. Like, if you think about kids now, if a kid is like 6, 7 years old, a parent might be like, instead of the kid being inside on a computer taking up chess or playing COD or whatever it might be, they might be like, well, you got to go play football practice. You got to go, you've got to go study piano, whatever it might be. There are going to be a lot of different things that could sort of take away from the attention that kids would have with chess. So that is the one thing that's going to be really, really cool to look back on and see whether this is like this blip in time where during the pandemic these kids became really, really good and are really special, or whether the trend is going to continue going forward. At any rate, let's keep going. Okay. Last week, Peng also competed in the under 13 section of the Chess Kid Youth Championship, where he defeated none other than Grandmaster Yildiz Khan Erdogmus, the world's youngest Grandmaster. Now, this is actually like special. This is special because Erdogmus is a very, very strong player. I've played him online. He's easily the strongest youth at the moment that I've seen. Faustino is improving, don't get me wrong, but like based on where Faustino is and where Erdogmus is by far and away the best junior in the world, in my opinion, under a certain age. So this is very, very impressive. Let's take a look at this game, actually. How do I open it? Is this how I open it? Okay, there we go. Let me change the scene. Okay, let's take a look at this game. Okay, we got a symmetrical English opening. Looks pretty normal. Okay, E5. Good knowledge, showing classic understanding. Oh, wait, the scene's still off. Is this better? Showing good understanding. This is, of course, a classic bot Vinnick system with C5, D6, E5, creating the Swiss cheese hole here on D5 for the horse. Okay, we got knight E7, rook B1, all standard, bishop B6, D5. This is well-known theory. Okay, pretty good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff. Knight D4, nice move. Takes, B4, queen D7, knight D5. Good move also. Black wants to jump to C3 with the horse and create a bastion and fork everything here. This is more than a family fork. You can fork the rooks, fork the king, you can fork the queen, and it's bad times. So we get takes, knight b6, queen 6, takes, knight c4. Here, white maybe has a small advantage due to the bastion on c4 with the knight. This bishop isn't doing anything. On the other hand, white has a weak pawn on this e2 square. Okay, wait, was there knight b6 here? Ooh, Yildiz. I expect kids to spot tactics. That's a little bit poor. He missed knight b6, forking the queen and the rook. Ooh, that's okay. They're still kids, whatever. Yildiz had 20 seconds. I'm a little bit disappointed because I think of kids and I think their tactics are amazing. But anyway, we get queen f4, takes, rook c6, h4, rook f6, queen e6, okay. Oh, and he hangs f2. But that being said, after f3, queen h3, some weaknesses here on the king side, probably still likely to be a draw, but you also have to worry about rook a6, rook a1, and penetrating from behind, and it looks quite scary here for white nonetheless. I guess rook b6 is how you stop it. You stop rook a6, and then it's probably a draw. So, okay, so he blunders queen e5, you get queen takes f2, and Ethan Peng wins the game against Yildiz. Pretty good win there. Okay, chat, stop being weird, okay? Chat, stop it. Okay, come on. Jeez. Okay, let's get back to the article. Come on. Seriously. Come on. Take a deep breath. Jeez. Okay, come on. Anyway, Peng learned the game at the school's chess club at the age of 5. When he was still only 7, he held a draw in a simul against two-time British champion GM Gwaine Jones. How did he become so good so early? It seems that ultimately it came down to practice. When he is presented with the opportunity to play against strong players, he tends to take it more seriously and apply himself fully. Consistent practice and the chance to compete against different types of opponents were key factors to his chess development, Ethan's father, Raymond Peng, told chess.com. Okay. He noted that the ability to access online chess resources and compete with others around the world have been instrumental to Ethan's chess growth during the pandemic. Makes sense. Okay. We feel the pandemic has played a huge role in his chess development in that the handful of chess club sessions that he attended ignited his interest. Then lockdown suddenly forced everyone to stay at home. This period provided Ethan with an opportunity to delve even deeper into his newfound passion, and we can genuinely say that it was thanks to chess.com and Chess Kid videos, he said. Now, this is the key point, which is why I am really curious. I'm curious if I watch these videos back 20 years from now, what the reality will be. Because this is exactly the point. The chess club ignited the interest, but then lockdown forced him to stay at home. And so then he got right into chess. He dove headfirst into the game. And he, of course, has become a very, very strong player. Now, will this be the case in the post-pandemic world? You know, if a kid goes to a club now and they get into chess, when they come home, they're not stuck at home. So it's like you have homework, you have after-school activities, you have all these other things that do take away from the potential time that you would have to get really deep into chess. So I am very, very curious what happens, what's going to happen in the future, whether we'll see more and more kids or whether it's going to revert back the other way. So, okay. Ping's rise extraordinary has now broken the 2200 barrier for the first time and earned the CM title. At 9 years and 3 months, he has now become the youngest player ever to have a published rating of at least 2200, according to chess.com's research. The previous record holder was none other than FM Faustino Oro, who recently became the youngest ever international master. There's a 7-day difference between him and Faustino. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Youngest ever 2200, Ethan Peng, 9 years 103. Faustino Oro, 9 years 110. Vugar Gashimov, a very, very strong player, someone who's no longer around, unfortunately died quite a few years ago. 9 years 161. Prag, 9 years 175. Subramaniam, Sindarov. Oh, wait, both Sindarovs. Islambek Sindarov and Yavokir Sindarov. Are they brothers? I don't know, maybe. Mishra, Pranav Anand, and Nijat Abasov. Very, very strong players, by the way, here. So he's in good company. Ethan enjoys every moment playing chess, finding it mentally challenging and rewarding, probably more so when he wins. He has a strong sense of direction and determination, knowing exactly what he wants and going after it with all his might, his father said. Okay. He added, one of his greatest motivators to improve is to participate in Title Tuesday, so he has a chance of facing Hikaru. Chance of facing Hikaru and playing the infamous Bog Cloud against him. Obviously, no winning chance for Ethan, but at least he can tell everyone how to go. Well, that's not actually so far from the truth, because again, I lost a game to Faustino today, and these kids are improving so fast that even within a couple of years, there's a very good chance that I might lose them in Title Tuesday. Very, very good chance that I'll play against him in the future. Very, very good chance. This is what you've done to chess. Yes, it's my fault that kids want to play the Blanc Cloud. I ruined chess. I absolutely ruined chess. Thank you, guys. Yep. Yes. The influence you had on the kind involves Bond Cloud. Let that sink in. Yes, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. That's going to be my lasting legacy, lasting impact. Chess used to be so respectable. Yes, exactly. I agree, you guys. It's all my fault, like everything else in the world of chess. Okay. What have you done to our game, Hikaru? Exactly. Okay. Chess.com has covered the incredible generation of talented players born in 2015, children who learned chess during the pandemic. Many of them have already beaten Grandmaster in classical games, such as Leonid Ivanovic from Serbia, who became the youngest to do so at 8 years, 11 months, and 7 days. Now, let that sink in too. You have a kid at 8 years old, 8 years, 11 months, and 7 days beating a Grandmaster, which is just, I mean, amazing. Really amazing at the end of the day. Not long after, that record was smashed by 8 years, 6 months, and 11 days old CM Ashwath Kaushik from Singapore, who beat 2351 rated GM Jacek Stopa. Another noteworthy player born the same year is CM Roman Shogziev, who beat 5 Grandmasters in the World Rapid and Blitz Championship last December. Exactly. All right. Peng now tops the list 27 points ahead of WFM Bodhana Sivinandan, triple world champion, the youngest player ever to score a WIM Norm. Third on the list is Attila Orman, the son of WGM Turkan Mamedyarova and nephew of GM Shahryar Mamedyarov. Okay, that's actually kind of cool, isn't it? That's kind of cool. So Shaq's nephew is like is 2090 from Azerbaijan. Too many kids to keep track of. It's not the first time Ethan Peng has been in the spotlight. In April, WFM Anna Kramling published an entertaining video of her informal blitz game against Ethan in Menorca, Spain. To date, it has reached more than 375,000 views. Perhaps unsurprisingly, it did not go well for the Swedish content creator and streamer. Well, he's a better player than her. He might be he's more than half her age, but he's a better player. So, All right. Asked about the goals for the future. His father says Ethan jokes about becoming the youngest. She's what, like 2150 maybe? I mean, it's not like someone who's like 2500, but she's like 2150-ish, I'm guessing. And also he's a kid, which means he's going to be really, really good tactically, so he's going to be great at blitz. Asked about the goals. Asked about his goals for the future. His father says Ethan jokes about becoming the youngest ever FM in the next few months, adding, "We don't have any expectations for Ethan's chess progress. Our main priority is supporting his continuous commitment to the game. As long as he remains enthusiastic to play chess, we will be there to support him." For Pang, the chess journey is just beginning. His next tournament is the British Chess Championship later in July, where he has received a wild card. Okay, very, very good article. I mean, it's amazing to see all these kids are becoming so good at such young ages. I mean, I would say the sky is the limit for all these kids. Really, to me, it's not shocking at this point. I've seen so many people who, so many of these kids now are becoming so good, so young. Obviously, Faustino and Yugi's Connor Dokes are the two at the forefront, but there's so many who are so good. And yeah, it's just a crazy time right now. Mainly for me, I'm mostly just curious to see, though, whether this is like a temporary pandemic blip or whether you're going to continue to have kids at these young ages getting so good, even kids who start taking up chess post-pandemic. So I guess if you would have to be between the ages of 4, I would say between the ages of 4 and 7, but between 2020 and 2023, I would say. I think that's probably the window of time. And I think so when we look forward, so kids right now, it'd be really curious to see kids who are like 4 right now in 2024. They're going to be 10 in 2030. It's like in 6-7 years, are we going to be seeing more of these kids at like 8, 9, 10 winning, or is it going to slow down? So I'm really, really curious to see what the reality is going forward. But nonetheless, amazing stuff. And like all these kids are so talented, and we'll see. I mean, I expect some of them are going to go on to become 2700 level players, if not world champion caliber. So it's a very, very exciting time to be alive and to be following chess. Really, really exciting.